The only difference being that this tunnel is twice as long, at about 2 kilometres in length. Now you'll notice that we're driving down on the right hand side of the tunnel, and the reason for this is that it was constructed by Americans. We're actually in a right hand drive vehicle, and we do meet other traffic in the tunnel from time to time. This allows me to pull as close as I can to the right hand wall to allow them to pass. You notice lighting on the right hand wall. There's emergency lighting along the apex of the roof, emergency telephones strategically placed on the left hand wall. Also notice on the left-hand wall numbers in white circles. Each of these is 20 metres apart, so you'll be able to track our progress as we go down the tunnel. This tunnel was constructed by the drill and blast method. All the material was brought to the surface. Most of it was crushed to use either as gravel on the Wilmot Pass Road or as aggregate in the vast amounts of concrete that they used during the construction of this scheme. Because it was excavated through such hard parent material, mainly granite or gneiss, there was no requirement to reinforce the bulk of the tunnel. There's only one very small section where there's any reinforcing, and that's because at that point it passes through a different rock strata. Just coming up ahead of us on the left-hand side, we have the access shaft through to the cable shafts. There are 7 of these cable shafts, 1 for each of the generators in the machine hall, and they come up a distance of 220 metres to the switchyard above us. Each of these cable shafts carries 3 large power cables and an emergency exit ladder. Just coming up ahead of us on the right-hand side, the access shaft through to the penstocks. This is where the water enters the scheme behind those grey trash screens at lake level, so that also signifies lake level, although at no point during our journey this afternoon do we have to pass under the lake. All of these excavations are within the mountain itself. You'll notice that the tunnel's curving to the left. We're in a very open left-hand spiral. We actually complete 1.5 turns within the mountain to take us down to the level of the machine hall, which is at approximately sea level. Just coming up ahead of us now, that reinforced section I mentioned. Geologists have kept an eye on this over the last 30 odd years, and there's been no movement within this or any other part of the tunnel. This also signifies a point in our journey this afternoon where we've completed 1 full turn within the mountain. Coming up ahead of us on the left-hand side, we have the access shafts through to 2 strategic parts of the power station. The first of these is into the surge chamber. This is a long curving tunnel that comes up from the tail race tunnel. It serves 2 purposes. Firstly, it allows the water after it's been through the turbines the opportunity to settle down before its journey through the tail race tunnel. And secondly, in a situation of emergency, say for instance they had a tail race tunnel collapse, they can close the station down in about 60 seconds. This tunnel has sufficient capacity to hold 3 times the amount of water that can enter the station during that 60-second period. coming up just ahead of us on the left-hand side, we have the access shaft through to the second of the two tail race tunnels. Coming up ahead of us also on the left-hand side is the walkway through to the viewing platform. The viewing platform is about 150 metres away, down two very short flights of stairs. Quite warm down there, between 22 and 25 degrees, so you're not going to need much in the way of hats and coats, although you will notice the air in the main access tunnel a bit cooler as we get off the coach. And the reason for that is that this is all part of the main ventilation system for the power station. However, now for one of the more interesting parts of this afternoon's journey, and that's turning an 11 metre coach around in a 6 metre tunnel. Wasn't too bad for the first time, was it? First time today. Now we have very few visitors down here, folks, so you're more than welcome to leave your valuables on the coach. Pay to take a camera with you. I'm sure you'll find something down here you'd like to photograph. And no smoking in the tunnel, please.